What's up, my reseller friends? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sabrina. I thrift to resell on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. I am a full-time reseller, and this video is going to be a little bit different from what I normally post. So I wanted to answer two viewer questions. I was asked about ornaments, mostly about the photography of the ornaments, but I thought that I could just talk to you guys about ornaments in general, some tips and tricks to selling them and how I ship them and all that good stuff. But first, I wanted to read to you a viewer comment from, it was probably about 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to this question, but I really feel like this was a great comment with lots of great questions. And I'm sure if this person is asking these questions, then there's probably others out there too that could use some advice. So I'm gonna go ahead and read to you the comment. It was from OMG, it's Brooklyn, and she wrote, "Congrats on 3K subs, Sabrina. I love your what sold ship with me videos. Do you have any advice for newer eBay sellers for a listing goal? Currently, I'm only around 120 items in my store. I would like to get to about 200 to 300 soon. When you first started, how long did it take to get to a few hundred listings, and how many did you post in a day on average? I find it very time consuming, mainly because I am very detailed. I take about an average of 15 pictures of each listing with my phone. Since I haven't really made a lot yet, I can't afford to invest in a nice camera. I know that would probably help. I also cross-post almost all my listings to Mercari. I know using one of those services like Perfectly or Vendoo would help, but it's just extra I can't afford right now. Any advice would be helpful. Thank you for your great advice and being real. I love that about you." Well, that was such a sweet comment. Thank you so much. But most importantly, those were such great questions. I really feel like, Brooklyn, if you're watching, I hope you are, but if you're watching this, I have to say that I really think that you are going to be very successful at reselling because you are asking all the right questions. These are great questions that a new seller should be asking, and I'm happy to go over all of this. And not only that, I would love it if some of my more seasoned eBay sellers out there wouldn't mind commenting in the comments below with any advice that you may have for Brooklyn, because we all have so much that we can give to each other. So I'm going to start off by answering some of the questions within the question. So how long did it take me to get to a few hundred? I wish that I knew the answer to this, but I thought about it and I really don't. I have no idea how long it took me. It was just because it was something that I was just kind of doing on the side part-time. I wasn't paying too much attention to it at the time. So it's really, really hard for me to answer that, sorry. And I wanted to address the whole listings being very time consuming and listing 15 pictures. I'm going to tell you that that is great. It is so important to have good quality listings. As an eBay buyer myself, if I'm on a listing that's got 1 or 2 pictures, no description, I don't really look at item specs, but I mean, it's just, if it's a very low quality listing and on top of that, no returns, I am just going to skip right past that unless it's like a super rare item that I've been looking for years and it's now available. I don't care, I'll buy it. But if I've got options, I'm not going to buy from this person at all. I do not trust them. I don't think they take pride in what they do. And with that said, if there's a problem, they're not going to help me. So as a buyer, I see that as a red flag. So it is so important to be listing lots of pictures, put care into what you do. You don't want to spend too much time. There's a line that's got to be drawn with that. But if you could just take the time to go in and do it right the first time, you're not going to have to go later and update your listings and fix them and do all that stuff. Get the price right the first time. Get the pictures right the first time. Do all the things you need to do the first time. That way you don't have to like go back and put extra care into it, and your items will sell faster. And it's just a great habit to be in. And I wish more eBay sellers would put more care into their listing. Now, 15 pictures, I feel, depending on what you're listing, that may be a lot. Like when I take pictures of purses, oh my gosh, I use up so many, because I like to take like pictures of all, like include pictures, measurements within the pictures. So I use up probably about like 5 or 6 pictures on just measurements alone. And I like to take detail of inside the purse and all around. So there's certain things that I will use somewhere between 15 to 25 pictures in that single listing. But with movies, like media stuff, I try to be at least 5. With clothing, I try to be at least 8. Especially if it's just a t-shirt, you know, I feel like 8 pictures is good. Barbies, I try to do, the more pictures you can post with Barbies, the better. But I'm normally within like the 9 to about 13 pictures with my Barbies. But yeah, it's pictures, having lots of pictures, good quality listings. That's very important. Don't stop doing that. Cross-posting. Now, I cross-post using Vendoo. I've heard that List Perfectly is really good. I've never tried it, so I can't say anything about it. But with Vendoo, I actually really, really love that app. And I think I started using Vendoo when I had about 300 listings is when I started. But I would tell you that I understand that, you know, you're still starting out. You probably don't have that much money to be investing into your business. But my advice would be to try the Vendoo. I think they have a small package of about 25 that you could start with. And it doesn't cost that much. But I think it is a good investment, and I think it will pay for itself if you start using that, because I'm going to tell you, you're probably using up a lot of extra time cross-posting. So even though you're new, and I would say this to any new reseller, use Vendoo if you're cross-posting at all. Even if it's just a little bit of cross-posting, use Vendoo, use List Perfectly, whatever, but I highly recommend it. I think it will really pay for itself. And then I wanted to talk about you using your phone for taking pictures. I use my phone. I mean, if you've got a good phone that's got good pictures, you're fine. There's no reason to invest in a really nice camera. If anything, I would say that if you don't have a great phone that's got a great camera, don't invest in getting like a professional camera. Just invest into a nicer phone. That's what I would recommend. I use my phone and I think it takes spectacular pictures. And I love that you can use the square feature on there to take some pictures. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about having a fancy camera. And of course, everyone's different. And if that's something that's a goal for you to be to a point where you feel like, you know what, I think that buying a nice camera will be a great investment for my business, then you should absolutely do it. But if you're just asking for my own personal advice, I think you're fine with just your phone. So let's talk about you getting to 200 to 300 listings. So I would say it just takes simple math. So let's say that you can list 10 items every day for a whole month. And that includes a Saturday and Sunday. 7 days a week, every day for a whole month, 10 listings. And then let's just say, and everyone's going to have a different percentage here, but how many of your items would you say sell within a month of being listed? I would say for me, it's probably about 20%. So if you're listing 10 items every day for a whole month, to make it easy, let's just say that's 300 listings. And then if you think that you're going to sell about 20% of those, take 20% off. So that brings it down. That takes 60 off. So that brings it to 220 new listings in that month. There, you've met your goal. But if you're like, Sabrina, there's no way in heck I can do 10 listings per day for a whole month. Let's just cut that in half, right? What would it be? I would say if you're going to cut that in half, you should be at your goal in about 2 months, right? So I would just use that and just, alter those numbers a bit to fit what's best for you. But taking a step back, I'm going to be taking off my reseller professor hat, and now I'm going to put on my BFF hat, and I'm going to talk to you as if I was sitting here and talking to my best friend and giving them advice on this topic. So I've been a new seller. I know what it's like. I've been discouraged, encouraged. I've had great days, bad days. I've been kicked down, spit on. I've gotten back up. It's been a roller coaster these last few years of my reselling journey to get to the point where I'm at now. And I'm still not even where I need to be or where I want to be. I still have so much more growing. I feel like I'm only literally about 20% of the way I feel like I need to be. But yeah, I do still feel like I've learned so much along the way, and I just have so much that I can share with you guys just based off just my own opinions and my own experience doing this. First of all, not getting to 200 to 300 listings is not necessarily a bad thing, because that means you're selling your stuff. I have not been able to reach 1,900 listings to save my life. I cannot get past, I think the highest amount of listings that I've had is 1,820. I'm not sure if I've ever gone above that. And right now I think I'm at 1,750. And I keep staying within that 1,700 and 1,800. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that shows me that my items are selling. So that's always something to look at too. So not being able to reach a certain amount of items in your store that you want to be at is not a bad thing all the time. And the next thing, the most important thing that I have to say about reaching a listing goal is don't worry about it. Honestly, I don't think it's that important, especially when you're first starting out and you're learning. I think that there's two really important things that you actually should be focusing on. And that is, one, listing high quality listings, which seems like that's already something that you're doing. And two, learning. There is so much to learn within the reselling business. It's not as easy as one thinks it is. You have to learn what types of things to pick up, how to source, where to source. You have to learn how to do your taxes. You have to learn how to ship. Did I say that? That's so important. And I think that's the main thing that keeps people away from reselling is shipping. It takes a bit to learn and understand how to ship items. You have to figure out your inventory system, where you're going to store everything. You have to figure out, do I want to offer returns? How you're going to get your items to the post office every day. You have to figure out how much you want to list your items. I mean, there's just how much you want to promote at. There's just so many things that you have to learn. Everybody is on different paths. So make sure that you're not comparing yourself, especially to other YouTubers or people on social media. Don't get discouraged when you see somebody post their porch pictures of all their items that are getting shipped out that day, because you don't know the details behind it. You don't know how hard they worked for it, how many years they've been doing it, and you don't even know what the profits are in it. So it just don't be discouraged by that type of stuff. And the last thing that I'm going to say about it is just don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself grace and have patience with yourself. You're going to get there. You'll get to your listing goal, and eventually you'll have a new goal, and you'll just keep meeting these goals and creating new goals. And before you know it, you're going to be a pro. Let's talk about ornaments. Now, I'm definitely not an professional when it comes to selling ornaments, but I have been selling them for a few years, so I feel like I know a little bit about it. So I thought I would just share some of the stuff that I know. So one of the great things about listing ornaments are these are the types of items that are very easy to source, and they're very cheap. You will find them at yard sales, estate sales, thrift stores, just anywhere, like auctions online, they're so easy to come by. And normally you can buy them in bulk or you can get them for really cheap. And they're really small, so they're not that hard to store. They're really easy to take pictures. They're a little bit complicated to ship because you don't want to break them or you don't want them to get broken in shipping. So you got to package them really nice. But ornaments can be really fun. A lot of times I get them at thrift stores, like in grab bags where they'll have like maybe like 6 ornaments in the little bag, and then it'll be like $2.99 or something like that. Or if I'm at a yard sale, if there's people that have ornaments, I'll normally ask the sellers, hey, how much will you take for all your ornaments? And normally it's a pretty good deal. So I would always focus on getting the ornaments for cheap. Now, what I look for, there can be some Hallmark ones that are worth a lot of money, but just don't get fooled by it because not all the Hallmark ones are. In fact, to me, it seems like in more cases, I find Hallmark ornaments that aren't worth a lot more than I find the ones that are. So if you're going to be paying up for those, I would definitely look them up first. But if you're getting them in bulk for cheap, grab them. And then you can always do, like if you have like a few ornaments that are similar or seem like they go in the same set, you can bundle them together. My favorite kind of ornaments to pick up are going to be Disney ornaments. Now, I'm talking the ornaments that they sell like at Disneyland or the Disney parks or from the Disney store. Those ones are not the same from the Hallmark ones. Though the Hallmark ones can be okay, some of them, if you find more rare ornaments, but the Hallmark ones have kind of more of a hard plastic feel to them versus the better quality ones that you get from the Disney store or from Disneyland. Those ones are more fragile, have a lot more detail on them. So you will definitely be able to tell the difference between those. So if you ever come across those, buy them because there's a very good chance that those are bolos. And they're really hard to find. I rarely ever find them, but when I do, there's only a 50% chance it's gonna get you listed because I'm probably gonna keep it. But that's what I look for. I love to find those. And if you just find ornaments that just have lots of just detail to them, they're really pretty, maybe have like a Victorian look to them, those are great too. You can use Google Lens to help you figure out which ornament it is. And if it's unbranded and you don't know what brand it is or the name of the ornament or anything, that's okay. It's always good to know it if you can. But if it's a beautiful ornament, it will sell itself. And you could also use, if you can't find the actual item on Google Lens, you can use Google Lens to come up with keywords for your title because it will show you other ornaments that look similar. So you could just kind of steal those ideas for that. And I have sold so many ornaments that were just unbranded, but they were really pretty. And sometimes I list ornaments all year long, but I really don't start really listing my ornaments until August. So anything that I find from January to August, I put it in a box or a bin, and then I just wait. And then I list all my ornaments at once because it's always easy when you're listing a lot of the same items. You can create these listings in bulk and do it very quick. And that's typically what I do. If I don't have anything else to list and I have a bin of ornaments, I'll jump in there and grab a couple of them and list them. But if I've got other things to list, when it's not the holiday season, I will always focus on those items first. Some resellers are going to tell you Christmas stuff sells all year long, and where there is some truth in that, it just doesn't sell as good all year long. I mean, I've had all these ornaments listed since August, and they've been kind of slowly selling, but as of Black Friday, I'm really selling a lot of ornaments. Now I'm going to show you how I take the pictures, where I store the ornaments, and how I ship them. So first, let's go see how I take the pictures. So we had bought these little trees off of Amazon just for decorations, not even for Christmas. These little trees right here. Oh, what the heck is going on here? We bought 2 of them. It came in a set of 2 on Amazon. I went in and found the exact page where we had purchased them, and it's no longer available, but I went through and found a tree that is comparable if that's something you're interested in purchasing. I will post a direct link, but you can also go into my Amazon page and look at photography items, and this will be in there. So this look really cute just as regular decor in your house. But what happens in August when you want to display your ornament that you're posting and you don't have your Christmas tree up just yet? Because I'm gonna say, we definitely do not put our Christmas tree up in August. You'll have this right here ready to go so that you can take some pretty cool pictures anytime. And this is what my photos look like. So I do keep some of my ornaments in this box, and I just know that this box has Christmas stuff in it, so I know to come here. These are more of like my Hallmark ones that have the boxes still. But with my loose ornaments, I do keep them in this little box right here. And I put them in little Ziploc bags, and I number them. So that when something sells, I just look for the number and I'm able to find it. That's how I do that. And then I always know just to be very careful and gentle with this box because there's stuff in here that can break. And I don't have any right now to show you because I've already sold them, but if I have some very high valuable ones, I'll wrap them in the bubble wrap and keep them right here on the side. What is this? Gross. Ew. I don't know what that is. I'll keep it right here on the side already wrapped in the bubble wrap. So that's pretty much how I do that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and show you my shipping. So I sold this little ornament right here. This is vintage from the 90s. This was, I believe these were given away at Denny's. And it's the little dog from The Grinch That Stole Christmas, right? So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna ship this. So this is not made out of glass or porcelain or anything majorly breakable. So because of that, I'm gonna be wrapping him up in just regular packaging paper. If this was more of a breakable item, I would wrap it in bubble wrap. But for this case, I'm just gonna wrap it up in this, just like that. And then I'm gonna get a piece of cardboard and I'm just gonna go like this and wrap the ornament up in cardboard. So it looks just like this. Now, of course, if you have a bunch of smaller size boxes lying around that you are willing to part with, you can always put it inside a box too as well. And if it is a very expensive ornament, it may be better just to put it inside a box. This is a $5 ornament. I'm sure it's fine. I'm shipping this USPS ground, which comes with insurance. So I'm not too worried about it. So once you have it wrapped up like this, I just put it in this size. This is normally the size box that I use to ship ornaments in. And this is a 6x4x4 size box. And see how it just fits very perfectly inside. Now I'm gonna see what this weighs, because if you don't know this by now, I'm sure a lot of resellers probably don't know this that are still learning about shipping. Shipping prices go in tiers. So it goes, when you're talking about ounces, it goes by fours. So we're talking 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 12 ounce, and then 1 pound. So once you get past that 4, 8, 12 number, then it goes up to the next tier. So I always try my best to stay within the correct tier and not go over. So I'm gonna go ahead and weigh what it shows. And yeah, so I've got a little bit of extra room to add some more because this only weighs 6.3 ounces, and I could go up to 8 ounces. So I have room to add a little bit of extra more stuffing in here. If we were just right at that 8 ounce, I may have just left this alone, but because I have that extra room, I am gonna put some more stuffing in here. So, and I'm just gonna use newspapers to do this. All right, so this is how it looks. It's fully stuffed, and let's see what it weighs now. Yep, we're holding at 6.8, so we're totally good. All right, so right here I have another ornament that I'm shipping out. This one is a Disney one. It's worth a little bit more, and it is much more breakable. Like I mentioned before, a lot of these Disney ornaments have a lot of little detail on them, so you just got to be a little bit more careful with them and ship them a little bit better. The last ornament was made out of plastic, so I wasn't too worried about it breaking, even though it could break, so I did put a little bit of extra care. But this one, I did wrap it in bubble wrap and make sure that it was secure inside this small little box right here. Now this is a 4x4x4 box. I do have a link in the description to Amazon to show you all the types of items that I use. So if you want to take a look at that, you definitely can. So here we go. So this is wrapped up in this smaller box, and then I'm using the same size box, the 6x4x4, putting it right in here. See how it fits nicely? And I definitely am gonna put a little bit of extra stuffing in here. That way the box just isn't moving around. The box inside the box isn't moving around. And at this point, I really don't care if it goes over or not. I just want to make sure that it gets to the buyer safely, because this one is way more breakable. So you see how I just stuffed some newspaper in here? That way it just won't move around when it's in transit. And you know what? I think I am going to put a little bit more on the top. Now, of course, you can still use bubble wrap, and you can still use the packaging paper. You don't have to use newspapers like me, obviously, but I personally think this is just as effective as using those other things. All right, this is super secure, and I seriously doubt there's going to be any damage to this item once it gets to the buyer. And that, my friends, is how I ship ornaments. Thank you so much, Angie, for purchasing those ornaments on my store. I hope you love them, and thank you so much for the questions you had that helped inspire an idea for this video. So I appreciate you so much. And to all of you out there watching, thank you so much for checking out my video. I appreciate it so much. I pray blessings all over all of you this holiday season, that you will all have an amazing, amazing holiday with your friends and family. And you know, just remember to do everything with love and grace, because if you can do that, you'll be successful at everything in life. And never forget that when you thrift upon a star, all your dreams will come true. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.